Thank you very much. I have listened very carefully to all the comments made here now in the previous session and your comments made from the audience. It's not been an easy job to try and absorb all these fantastic comments and ideas and to compile them into something readable. And I would like to start by thanking you all for all your contributions and your hard work and inputs in this process, and also my own drafting committee for what they have contributed to. We've tried to do our best to compile comments on the policy documents. I know I heard this comment here that there are too many documents, too many words. I've been through many negotiation processes myself in different international fora, and I tend to agree really that there are too many words, too many sort of documents to read and understand. So it's a matter of getting them down into some more brief and readable, understandable documents. So I'd just like to mention what we can do now from the drafting committee side. There are three things, I think I mentioned this morning to you already, about the three kind of processes, if you like, ahead of us here. First one, there are all the comments and inputs on the policy papers. Please put your inputs, if you have more on this, and email them to thekey@futureofplaces.com. Secondly, we've reviewed this key messages document that was the outcome of the last FOP conference, which was a very good one, I think, but we worked more on that. We did try to absorb some of the key messages into fewer messages. We a little bit reformulated. We didn't leave anything out of them, but we tried to use them when we formulated the key messages. And thirdly, there was this issue of us trying to produce a paper called Public Space for the City We Need, which is then given to the Urban Thinkers Campus as a contribution to them in their continued discussions. And I'm going to present now a little bit of the outcome we have here. As I said, it's an evolving process, and you are most welcome to continue in this dialogue with us about how to proceed. So if we look here at the key messages in the public space for the city we need, I'd just like to read the headlines for you. You can look at the other text yourselves. First, number one, public space for the city we need incorporates a people-centered approach to planning. Number two, public space for the city we need is inclusive, particularly for vulnerable groups. And three, public space for the city we need respects human scale and behavior. Fourth, public space for the city we need provides a citywide network of connected streets and public spaces. 5, public space for the city we need is economically productive. 6, public space for the city we need is accessible. 7, public space for the city we need is sustainable, healthy, safe, resilient, energy conserving, and resource efficient. And finally, 8, public space for the city we need incorporates culture and context. Principles and key messages on public space are not enough on their own, of course. So instead, there is also, I would say, a need for action and implementation mechanisms, which you have all underlined here in the comments. that support and protect public space and its users. And the following action and implementation mechanisms have been captured during the discussions, sessions, labs, and constituent groups as a call for action for creating an enabling environment for city builders. I'd just like to summarize again and read out the sort of main sentences to you, and then you can look yourself at the texts below. So there is first advocacy and mobilization. Then there is measurement and monitoring, which we discussed here also in the comments we heard. Then there is public space financing solutions and policies and legislation for public space. Then comes empowerment of marginalized groups. And finally, tools and knowledge management. It's our hope, really, that these instruments will help to bring life to the key messages reflected above by demonstrating the need for establishing a clear role for stakeholders and for creating an enabling environment that encourages sustainable urban development. This is a topic, of course, we would like to see on the table of Habitat 3. I would like to reiterate that this process is far from over, which you have all already noted from your side. We'll continue to encourage your feedback and contributions during the weeks to come, and we will try to strengthen these documents to make sure that they reflect the interests of the participants of Future Places 1, 2, and 3. The Future of Places key messages will be posted on the conference website, and you'll have the opportunity to reflect and provide feedback and text suggestions before this document is finalized on 1st of August. This will then serve as the legacy of the Future of Places towards Habitat 3. In addition, the Urban Thinkers Campus report will be prepared based on the detailed accounts of the past 3 days and the feedback you provide on the website. So we still do encourage your comments. This report will then be shared with the World Urban Campaign partners to reflect the role of public space in the city we need. It's our hope that these principles, policies, and solutions will influence the City We Need declaration, aimed at influencing the new global urban agenda that will come out of Habitat 3. We still have a very long path ahead of us, as you have already noted, but as you can see, at least the past few days have been a testament to the strength of mobilizing partners towards a common goal of building people-centered cities. Thank you all for your contributions.
Thank you, Inga. So that was very useful report from the drafting committee that none of you have actually seen, right? It's kind of, we've been to all these sessions and we've had all these things visible, but there has been lots of work going on behind the closed doors, so to say. And now we have argued a lot about that there is going to be more written comments, and please, can you read and can you come back and can you send mails? Now, we did this last year, you remember, when we were in the Future of Places 2. And we had lots of comments that actually came in on the documents. So we really feel that this is a process that worked so well last year, and that's why we can dare to actually also put it on the table this year. So don't disappoint us. It's going to be The process is open for the whole month, and then we hopefully will we'll put all the comments in, and we will have something to present to you on the web by the mid of August. We've been having all these years of process where we have talked about the importance of public space and placemaking. We talked a lot about how this issue can contribute to cities and quality of life for people, and there's been different sessions with different sub-focuses. But we, in addition to actually talk about all aspects of public space and how fantastic it is, we have actually also created a type of, interface between different types of groups that have an interest in public space. And I think that many of you previously spoke to yourself, so to say. I mean, the developers spoke to the developers, and the academics spoke to the academics, and so forth. It's pretty common when you go to conferences that it's one type of people. But here we have really managed to have different types of people from different groups and from different parts of the world, and also different age groups. I would say that it's seldom that I go to conferences where there is such a good mix of age and regions and different constituency groups. So, this I hope is something that will continue actually, because it also shows that the multi-sectorial approach that we have talked a lot about on public space, it's really, we are actually all needed in order to make this work. So we created a nice interface, but in addition to this, we have actually also created a fairly strong global movement for public space. And I think this has also been proved lately, because suddenly important processes and institutions and whatever, they start to write to Future of Places to ask about things on public space. There isn't, in other institutions that are so knowledgeable on this topic as we are. We together. There is, in this network that we now have, it's hundreds of different kinds of institutions and thousands of people. And we together have, over these years, we have compiled and we have looked upon and we have assessed and we have described public spaces and processes to get there and so forth. And we have also started to align our discussions and our thinking with very important international processes like the Post-15 and the Habitat 3. So that also makes this process, I would say, very special, because we have been able to do this at a fairly early stage in the process. None of these processes are still concluded, but we are already prepared after years of work, actually. What do we want to say to these people? And now we are not going to have another conference. We think that we maybe have conferenced enough. But we have results, and we're going to use these results. So the refined documents will be kind of used in the official ways that are lined out by the UN in order to how can you influence the Habitat 3 process and so forth. But as was alluded to here in the earlier session, there is also the fact that this is member states. This is country processes, and every one of you come from a country. And that means that we probably, in this conference today, we are 75 countries that is represented. Now, that's a big part of the countries. And if we add on some of the members that came for the conference last year and the first one, I'm sure we're probably up to like 50% of the countries. Now, can you now promise that you try to influence your national committee that is going to go to Habitat 3? That they have to read the paper we have written before they go. Because that is going to give effect. So we have to influence the country delegations. We have to influence all other lobby groups which are going, because these type of UN conferences, they have lots of people that go for different reasons, private sector and civil society and local authorities, and everyone would like to be there. Make sure that they have understood our message. Now, all these things that we have done only because Axelsson Johnson Foundation has found this interesting, and they found it worthwhile to invest time, efforts, and some money into this process. And we are really very, very grateful for this, because this is not a small issue. This is a long process, lots of components, and Axelsson Johnson has been standing and driving and coming with ideas and supported the whole process financially. They have been doing this, and there is also PPS with their long experiences that has been part of the designing of the whole process, that have years of experience that has been able to be put into this process. And there is all my colleagues at UN Habitat that has worked with this daytime and nighttime and put their real soul into this process. And together, I think that we have actually managed to make a platform where you, committed participants, have been able to then talk, speak, meet, learn, educate, and share. And said several times here, this is maybe the end of the conferencing, but it's not really the end of Future of Places. The website is going to be there, the documents are going to be developed, we will secure that they go to different places, and we will check that you also do that. So the network is alive. Now we're coming really to the end of the program, and I'm going to ask Peter from Axelsson Johnson to come up here, and Mayor Maimouna for a little just thank you to the foundation to have made all this possible.
I'm the last one.
Speechless. Yes, after having 4 days here. Okay, a very good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and all my friends in these rooms. I feel very honored. I feel very fortunate to be with you all for the past few days, and I learned a lot. And every time when I came back to my room, I put down the note what I learned on that day. And I have learned a lot. And thanks to you all for sharing all the best practices and your challenges. And again, I would like to thank Peter for having us here. And it's very wonderful. And due to the lack of time for me to see the Stockholm, I extend my 3-day stay here to visit and see your city. Again, thank you very much, and hope we will meet again in some other conference or in some other events in any part of the world, or maybe in Malaysia or in Seberang Perai. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Yeah. This is the...
Thank you very much.
Yeah. Okay. This is a book of the... I just want to inform this is the coffee table book of the Seberang Perai, Discovering the Hidden Pearl of Penang. And This is the first version, the first coffee table book ever written on Seberang Perai. It was launched on 2014, and I'm very honored to give it to you and to have it with you. And you please read, and you can see how many % of my public space in Seberang Perai.
Great, thank you. Thomas Malin brought up one very important issue here, and that was daytime and nighttime. Elin and Katarina, Anna, please stand up. Where is Anna? They have been working daytime and nighttime for you, so give them a big hand. Okay, everyone is asking me about the future of Future's places. I have an answer from Wikipedia about social movements. There is no single consensus definition of a social movement. Mario Diani argues that nearly all definitions share 3 criteria. A network of informal interactions between a plurality of individuals, groups, or organizations engaged in a political or cultural conflict on the basis of a shared collective identity. I don't believe in a central organization of this. This must be loose, nebulous network where you connect to each other. Future of Places is not copyrighted. You can use this as much as you like. And we will keep the site, and maybe we can list activities that is going on. But you have to do the job yourselves. Thank you very much.